Waka waka waka, what's up? Tonight, we're going to be doing an in-depth review and transformation of the Fans Toys FT-31E Bandit. Let's transform, rise up, and take it to the table. And welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch review. And yeah, you'll notice that we don't have a box on the table like we usually do. And that's because, for those that don't know, this is Fans Toys FT-31E, who we'll be taking a look at tonight. And he is the final member of the Fans Toys Stunticon team to be released. However, he is my first member. And yeah, but he doesn't come in a box by himself. He comes with a massive box. I did a super long unboxing. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to check that out. Again, it's the stuff that this guy comes with and that the combiner comes with. Needless to say, this is my first in the set, so I won't be doing the combiner for some time, but I will say this: if you are getting the combiner, I am jealous of you. Oh my god, it looks superb. That being said, we are going to take a look at least one component of the combiner, and of course, the best part about being kind of late to this party is that all of my videos will now incorporate all three transformations, since, you know, we know what they are at this point in time. So yeah, in either way, now the strange part is that so I've heard mixed reviews on this guy online. I will say this, spoiler alert, excuse me. I do like this figure. I'm a fan of it, but it apparently has some mixed reviews, which is interesting because this is my first Stunticon, so that kind of leads me to think, it's like, oh, well, how good are the other Stunticons? So, of course, we're going to be doing an in-depth review and transformation of this, so let's get right to it. And starting off, let's get a good look at Mr. Bandit. And of course, we all know that Bandit is a take on Stunticon Dead and the most apathetic guy of the group. And we'll get in close up the head. The head's well done. I mean, I love this, like, this shade of like orangish bronze for the face. Just looks absolutely cool. I love the color scheme here, right? And nobody does it like Fans Toys with the paint. You got the kind of magenta, like the pinkish eyes. So he's got pink eyes. And then of course you got the head. You got a little bit of molded detail. Oh, can't see it too. There you go. A little bit of molded detail on the head. Painted nice. Again, really nice paint on the head. Again, you got some exposed area at the top here with the shoulders, but coming down onto the chest, you see you got some very nice paint, nice molded detail. Actually, he is, even though this is cartoon accurate, he is a bit more detailed than, you know, the most of the non-detailed G1. You got some deep gray on the chest. You got some light grays here. You got some kind of beige right here. All done very well. And this hinge right here, I love how this hinge kind of hides itself into the chest. The red paint is divine, or like the I forget, the burgundy or whatever it is. Whatever, this paint is just great. I mean, it just has a nice sheen to it. I love how the chrome wheels. We'll talk about this in vehicle mode, but it does have chrome wheels. You get some paint on the shoulders. I mean, it's Fans Toys, so it is fully painted. I'll bring the arm out. Look to the side. And you can see the belly cleans up itself pretty well. You do have some gaps towards the back here, kind of similar to what Parkour had, but for the most part, he is pretty much gap free. Now the pelvic area, you know, pretty undetailed as well in the gentleman's area. You got a little bit of molded detail on the knee, and of course you do have some very nice red again on the legs. You can see it's mostly the back of the Porsche. You got the wheels on here, and then of course you got his little feet down here. You can see that you see some gaps up into there. Turn him around so you can kind of get, he does have a little bit of a back end. It's got the kind of car hanging off of the back. It is a little bit on the messy side, but overall, you got some gaps in the arm as well, and you got the little head, the little side view mirror hanging out here, but for the most part, it seems to do very well. I do like how the hardware is mitigated in the back here, and of course the black screws kind of meld in with the dark gray color. You got some molded detail back here as well. And let's talk about his articulation next. He's got a fair amount of that. So the head is on a hinge swivel. It'll go side to side, and then of course it goes up a little bit, it goes down a slight bit. The arms, now the arms, you can see they do kind of come all the way up just like this. You can bring them a little bit down if you, so it's like he's have his arms hang low. And of course, on a clickety-clackety ratchet, you can spin them all the way around. That is pretty cool. Has a very nicely tolerant bicep swivel. This people may argue with, yeah, that's pretty much all you can get. Just shy of 90 at the elbow. Not too much at all. The wrist does swivel very nicely. And, of course, you can get his fingers out. They are the classic style fans. So you got the thumb on a bulge right near the finger as a base hinge and then a secondary hinge right here. Bring the arms out because you get a ab or waist swivel, excuse me, just side to side. That's about all you get, more than you'll ever need. You do have the little hip skirts right here as well. He can bring his leg out to do a massive fusion kick. Look at that. You bring his leg back to get just shy of a fusion kick, and you bring his leg out to side to get a super fusion kick as well. He does have a very nicely tolerant thigh swivel. You get just shy of 90 at the knee. Bring that back down, and of course, he does get you toe tilt for days. So you can bring down the heels just due to transformation, and of course, you get ankle tilt for days as well. And that's going to be pretty much it for his articulation. We'll talk about his accessories next. He does come with a few of those. He does come with 2 guns, 1 for each of you, but they're both the same, so we're just going to talk about the one. And this is overall a very nicely done rifle. Of course, it is painted in a kind of a gun metal. Does look really, really good. Actually, quite a bit of molded details. So you got even like the bolting detail on there next to the scope. That does look very good. You got like a little rail down here. You got some, you got like a little grip detail. That is pretty neat. You got some riveting, some bolting detail right there. It does look very, very good. You got the little iron sights over here. And of course, you have the tab on the handle, and he will hold that in the typical Fans Toys style. He does have a little slot on his hands, and you can just keep it there, and that will hold quite firmly. You can take down some Autobots, but of course, you can, this is not in the instructions, but I guess you can technically store these guns, and you basically storing them the same way you'd store them in the vehicle mode. And what you're going to do is just going to kind of bring this down. You can see you got this little clip right here, and you can see you'll see it better in vehicle mode. You have like little kind of clip areas right here, and you can just kind of put this in just like that. And again, it does hinder his diesel, but I guess if you want to store his weapons, you totally can. Now, this, along with doing the vehicle mode presentation, is the last time I'm going to do this, because this is starting to leave little, you can't see it too well, but it is starting to leave like little marks on here just from the paint meeting against the paint here. I'm not too big of a, you'll see it better on this right here. I'm not too big a fan of the way Fans Toys did this, but just FYI, this is probably, again, this video is the last time I'm ever going to store these guns, just because I don't want them to ruin the figure more than it already has been. We'll put him down over there. He does come with 1 alternate face, and of course it is done in the similar style, and the only difference is you can see the mask covers his nose, like, you know, like a mask should. Here he's got his full nose exposed, and how you're going to change this, how you just bring this out. You want to get just a smudger in there, and you can just there you go. And you do got, I'll bring in the other face, and you can see you got a little slot port right there, and you got the port right on his head right there, and you could just put that in. Oop. There we go. And yeah, for me, this is no better between the two. I actually kind of like him with the nose covered, but hey, I guess you get options because he was animated both ways at one time or another, I guess, and that's how Fans Toys likes to do it. And that's going to be pretty much it for his accessories. And of course, we'll do a few quick comparisons in robot mode, and the first guy we'll get him in there with is his proverbial daddy, Mr. MP36 Megatron. Actually, this is my IT-01KO, though I do want an official MP36 at one point, so you can see how they look together, and overall, I think the scale lines up pretty well. And of course, we'll get him in there with the Magic Square, our previous, or I guess our future review, previous unboxing, the Magic Square Tornado. So you can see how 2 arm bots from 2 different combiners work on. Overall, I think for coming from 2 different companies, these guys actually scale quite well with one another. They look pretty good together. And that's going to be about it for our comparisons. And it is time to get Mr. Fans Toys Bandit transforming up into his Porsche 928 alternate mode. And honestly, if you've transformed Fans Toys right, this guy is pretty simple as well. So let's get right down to it. So first thing you want to do, you want to make sure his hands are in fist, just like that. Again, pretty standard for most transformations. And of course, we'll take his head, turn it around all the way 180, just like that. Then what we're going to do is we want to kind of raise up the chest area on this little piece right here, just kind of give ourselves some extra room. And then we got the tabs in the chest plate here. We're going to untab that. That's just going to kind of get this up and out of the way, just like we just lift it up just like that. Then what we could do, we can come around to the back, and we're going to take the front of the car that's hanging out back here. It moves on this hinge system, and we're just going to lift that up over the head just like this, just kind of get it out of our way. And then we could untab this back section here and just kind of bring this out on this hinge system. Just kind of leave this out of the way for now, just give ourselves some room. Next, what we want to do is we are going to take this panel right here, we're going to open it up, and then we're going to come down to the bottom of the arm and take this panel here and open it up, and then we can rotate the hand all the way inside. You can see at the little slot right here, you're just going to close this up just like that. And then what we could do is we can kind of collapse the arm inward just like this, and we can close this panel up just like this. And then if it hasn't kind of come out already, you can take the side view mirror and just kind of bring it out, and it'll kind of thump into place just like that. Next up, you can see you got this side panel here. You can just take this panel, and you can, sorry in the background, that is Dino Cat, of course, messing around. Move this panel into here, and then what we can do is you can take the arm and you could just kind of shift it in at the elbow. Kind of shift it in, and you're going to notice you have tabs, you have a slot, you have a tab and a slot, and of course you have tabs and slots up here. And you're just going to kind of shift the arm in just like that. Well, get it tabbed in right back here as well, just like that, and then get it tabbed in right here just like that, nice and cohesive. And it's going to be the same thing for this side. I'm going to do it off camera. We'll be right back. So now you can see you got them looking just like this, pretty much almost ready to go. And what we're going to do next is we're going to take the front of the car, and you can see you got two tabs right up here, you got two slots right up here. You're just going to kind of work this down on this double hinge system. Oh, there we go. And you're just going to kind of work it into there and tab it in. And then what we could do is we can kind of bring this down. What you want to do is you want to kind of bring this hinge system in just right here and just kind of line it up just like that. And then we're going to bring this down. You can see you get these two teeth. They're going to tab in right up here. And that's going to be pretty much the front of the car all done. We're going to leave this up for the time being and make sure you have this pulled up. We're going to start on the legs. So what you want to do is you want to come to the legs. You want to pull down on this piece. Just kind of give ourselves a little bit of extra room. And then what we're going to do is we are going to bring this foot down just like this, and then we're going to untab this here, and you just want to bring this panel back just like this, and then you're going to open up this panel. You got to get it around here, and then just open up this panel entirely. Now what you want to do, you want to take this piece which has the back of the car mode, you just kind of want to bring it out and just kind of work it around just like this. Just kind of work it around here. And then we can come to this panel right here, and we can close up this right here, just kind of compact it down, close this up, and rotate this around just like that. Next up, what we can do is we're going to get rid of the foot, and so we want to start swinging this around on this hinge here. And as we're doing that, we want to compact the foot down just like this, and then reset it in this recess right here. Next, what we want to do is we're going to come to this little hook right here, and we're just going to kind of bring this down on this hinge. We're going to rotate down and then bring it back out, and then we're going to bring this down just like that. And next up, what we want to do is we want to take the leg, and we want to rotate it all the way around just like this. And then what we can do is we can take this panel down here and just fold it all the way back up just like that. And then we can kind of bring the back of the car piece and just kind of bring it in just like that. Don't tab it in just yet. And it's going to be the same thing on this leg. Now, one thing I do want to point out is when I first got my figure, what's going to happen is it's going to end up tabbing into here. But I really had to kind of Dremel this tab down right here. It was just way too thick, way too tight. Not sure if it was the paint application or what. But just kind of want to point that out. Just a little thing I found. I'm going to do the same thing on this leg. I'll be right back. So now we're basically on the home stretch. You can see that we got the car basically all ready to be attached together. And you got a tab right here. It's going to go into a slot right up here. You got a tab right here. It's going to go into a slot here. And then, of course, in the windshield, you got a little port right here. It's going to go into a port right here. So you're just going to bring the legs together just like this. And then what we want to do is we want to push up on the waist. Just like that. Just kind of keep everything together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure this panel is down. We're going to sandwich everything together. You got tabs up here that go into a slot back here. And then you got tabs on the side of the door that are going into slots up here. So you just want to kind of sandwich the car together. There we go. And bring that in together. Nice and cohesive. And then what you're going to do is you have two tabs right here. They're going to go into a slot right here. And you're going to bring this all the way down. And this is going to sit nice and flush like a belly pan. And like magic, there we have Fans Toys Bandit in his Porsche 928 mode. So let's talk about that gorgeous vehicle mode. And yeah, this hits so hard. I could already tell that this was the key mode for this figure. Even though the robot mode is very nice, this mode is where a lot of the effort was put into, and it looks great. I'm not even a Porsche 928 fan, and this thing just goes so hard. The paint itself, it's shrouded in this like burgundy paint, and it just really, really good. It's got a matte finish for most of it, but then if you come back to the spoiler, it's kind of got a gloss finish. And I mean, I'm kind of okay with that. I kind of like the different changes in sheen or whatever. Maybe it's just the paint application back here. No, it definitely looks like a more gloss finish. The windows done in like a burnt orange or a yellowish style clear plastic all the way around. I believe that is cartoon accurate. It does a good job of covering up all the robot bits. You do have the windshield wiper detail painted out in like a gunmetal. Same thing with the front windshield wipers. Nice attention to detail all over this car. That's the theme of this. You do have the door handles mixed in there. You got the keyhole even done very well. Running lights painted in orange on the side. And then you come to the front. This is great. The use of clear plastics on this thing is just excellent. You got this nice blue clear plastic for the headlights. You even got the little like texturing in there. And then of course you got some yellow and even orange for the running lights up front. That is really good. You got like the little insets down here coming around to the side. Again, if we go to the back, you can see you got the clear yellow for the taillights. That just looks really, really good. You got the exhaust port right here. And of course, he does have silver plastic wheels, which look great. Period correct, of course. I know you got some treaded, treaded rubber tires. And by the way, he will roll like a champ. Rolls very smoothly. Incidentally, you can incorporate the weapons into this mode the same way I kind of showed you in robot mode. And yeah, you're just gonna do with the gun what we did before. You just get these little clips out, and you're gonna just, you got these little like you can see, you got a little inset right on the back of the spoiler, and you're just gonna kind of get that in there. There we go. And get that right in there. But again, I don't like this because it does kind of scuff the paint. But there you go. And that's a typical mode of weapon storage. I believe even the main line is like that. And of course, it looks as ridiculous as ever. It's just so weird. I know those things are going back in the box, especially since they scuff the spoiler. And we'll end off with a real quick comparison. We'll just bring in our standard form of comparison, Mr. MP18 Streak, so you can see what he looks like with another masterpiece. And I guess this is kind of right scale. The Fans Toys definitely looks like it's a bit bigger. I have a feeling these cars would be on par if side by side with one another. And that's going to be pretty much it for the vehicle mode. All right, and it is time for our second transformation. That's right, the beauty of being late to the party on this set is now in all my review videos, I can actually do the combined modes in addition to the standard transformations and all that. So, without further ado, let's get Mr. Bandit transforming up into his second mode, an arm for the mighty menasor. And the first thing we want to do is we want to come to the bottom and we're just going to kind of unpeg the chest plate. This is going to open up a whole new world of stuff for us. Just get our spudger in there and just kind of pull that up just like this. Next, what we want to do is we want to separate the front and back half of the car. And I'm just going to kind of pull. And you may need to get a spudger in there just to kind of help this one along. I don't want to... There we go, just like that. And you can see we actually activated the rotation for the combiner joint. And next, what we want to do is we want to take, we're gonna come in here, and you can see this is slotted in here. We're gonna kind of pull out and up and just kind of bring it down. It's on a hinge system, you'll see in there. And you're just gonna pull it back in just like that, and it'll lock in just like that. Next thing we want to do is we'll get in with our spudger. We're going to open up these panels. These are going to help us kind of lock in. Same thing with this side, just like that. And then what we can do is we're going to pull it down again. This is a bit of a tough pull. Oh, come on. Takes a bit of oomph. There we go. And you want this piece exposed. What we want to do, we want to make sure that the waist stays recessed in the car. So make sure that this waist stays recessed in the car, but you want it looking just like this. Last thing we want to do is we want to take the chest plate, and we're just going to kind of bring this up on this double hinge here and just kind of work it back in. Just like that. Leave that like that for now. And what we want to do is he does do a bit of part storming. I mean, you know, as expected for this combiner. And you can get the arm piece from the menasor set. What we're going to do is we're going to remove this cap right here, and we're just going to kind of put Mr. Dead End, or Mr. Bandit, excuse me, make sure that this stays together. You got two slots right here. You got two ports right down here, and you're just going to kind of back his butt, the butt of his Porsche in there. And then you can kind of just slide this onto here just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this little cap in, and we're just going to kind of put this back on. You kind of want to get it under the tabs. And like magic, there we have Bandit in his left arm mode. So let's talk about it. And yeah, I mean it's Bandit as a left arm. I mean, it's pretty much a 928 left arm, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's pretty interesting. It reminds me of that car tower they used to have in Aurora, Illinois. Anyway, just kind of going on. You know what? The one thing I do like about this is you know, we've seen most of the menasor transformations, even the official menasor transformation, and they always just have like the car splitting in half. The X-Transbots does it. The DX9 does it. The Fans Toys remains the car as a whole thing and just includes the combiner joint in the actual rollout, which I think is really cool engineering. I like the fact that it's not just split off and grafted to an arm. The car actually is, I mean, it's grafted to an arm, but it's not. The car is actually doing structural stuff as the arm. So overall, I think that's pretty cool. I don't want to go over too much of the articulation. You can already see it does have a ratcheted elbow that does like 2 or 3 clicks right there. We'll talk about that for the combiner video whenever I decide to do that. And for a quick comparison, let's just kind of straighten him out real quick. This is going to be kind of difficult. Let's get him in there with the toy world. Let's bring in the toy world so you can see how that's gonna look. So that's really all my toy world is good for nowadays. It's just like a little comparison. And yeah, you can see the toy world is definitely bigger and beefier. Menasor, of course, a more lithe robot, even though he was able to knock Mr. Bruticus out in one hit. And that's gonna be pretty much it for his combined mode. And let's sum it up for Fans Toys Bandit. What for most is the final installment in the Fans Toys Stunticon set, or whatever they call their Stunticons. However, for this reviewer, this is my first installment to the set. So yeah, if you are expecting a review of the combiner to come shortly after this, yeah, you're going to be SOL, man. That is a long way off for me, unless Fans Toys reissues the set, in which case it's still probably at least a year out for me. But nevertheless, I will be enjoying the journey and giving all the reviews regardless. That being said, with regards to this figure, overall, I think this guy is a solid entry, like any other Fans Toys. The paint is absolutely divine. mwah, chef's kiss. Love the burgundy, love the way the head is painted. Overall, I think the engineering is solid, got good enough articulation, plenty for my needs. The transformation, fun, enjoyable. I mean, save for right, it don't get no easier than this, and the Porsche 928 alt mode is absolutely stunning with all of the details. As far as the gripes I have about this guy, having to shave down the tab on the leg was a bit of a bummer. I've never had to do it to a Fans Toys before, and I really don't like that the method of installing the guns on the car mode spoiler scuffs the spoiler. That is kind of a downer. But again, very minor black marks on an otherwise good figure, one that I'm definitely going to enjoy and I'm happy to add to my collection. That being said, that is going to conclude this review. I'll put a link in the description to Chosen Prime, which is where I got mine. This guy is a hair on the expensive side because he does come with all the menasor bits, which are fun nonetheless. That being said, you guys know what to do at this point. If you found this review fun and informative, let me know by hitting the like button down below. Also, if you are a fan of Transformers reviews, both official and third party alike, with some mainline and missing link mixed in there for flavor, consider subscribing to my channel. We are on the way to 1,000 and we are making headway fast. So again, thank you to all those who have subscribed already. I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for making me a part of your collecting journey. Good night.